wondering, what is the process for creating the set and the costumes for you guys? Like, how do you go about, like, do you have the script to decide this should go there?
Rarely do we have the script before we start. We usually sort of start talking and brainstorming with like the writers and the director as they're writing, so as things sort of come along. So it's a lot of being very flexible because it changes a lot. I think the set that we ended up with Starship was like the second version. But like we got to like, there were like 6 versions and we went back to 2 because the story kept changing. So yeah, I guess.
It varies. I mean, I think every show is different. I mean, with the sequel, that was kind of like, we started talking about it like 2 months ahead of time or something, but we knew we had 2 weeks to do it. And so it was like a team of us.
Yeah.
Corey designed, and then he brought me and our other friend on to help him,
and then
it was just a team,
people,
and a couple other people. It was just like, we have to do this in 2 weeks, go. But Starship was much different. With the Star Trek kind of thing in the beginning, it was more, the costumes changed drastically. It was like, first we were going to go with more like Star Trek kind of design with color block kind of things, and then we ended up changing that. Like when the script changed, it needed to be more like aliens, more like military. So, you know, we roll with bunches. And Corey and I always tend to talk about these things together.
Yeah.
We're like, ooh, what cool things are we going to do?
Yeah.
We have fun.
But yeah, so it usually starts with like talking with them and like sort of latching onto an idea and then just going out and getting lots of images together of like, this could look cool, that like whether or not it actually translates to something down the line. It's like, this looks cool, this feels right for the story, and then figuring out sort of how to incorporate that in later on.
And on that, who came up with the GLEE logo?
Actually,
that was that you or Nick?
That was me and Nick. Any all the old logos. Corey does a lot of stuff now, or Corey pretty much does everything now. But like in the older days, like the old Starkid logo, some of the older, like the old Harry Potter drawings. Me and Nick usually do them together. Nick usually draws. I usually color. So yeah, me and Nick the logo for the collective league.
And you spent forever coloring the Starship poster, I remember.
Yeah, it took a month to color the Starship poster. It was of sitting in front of the computer all day, every day for a month. And that's when I listened to all of the Hunger Games on audio.
Yeah.
It was a depressing month. Yeah, the first book was good. and then it quickly turns into depressed girl with 2 hot guys that are in love with her. Don't do that. Any other questions?
What's your guys' favorite Broadway musical?
Book of Mormon.
I guess Book of Mormon.
I really can't admit, so I haven't seen Broadway musicals.
But it probably would be.
Yeah.
I loved Tommy.
That was good. It was a really good production of Tommy at U of M.
Oh, it was so good. Dylan was in it.
I do like Little Shop of Horrors a lot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Little Shop of Horrors is so good.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But it's like, it pales in comparison to Book of Mormon. In terms of like raunchy.
Yeah.
And it's the same guy.
One of them, yeah.
One of them.
My grandpa and I used to watch Oklahoma all the time. And I still think it's so good. Even though it's like, I don't like musicals, but like I love Oklahoma, which is like the worst, cheesiest one.
When I was a kid, I used to listen to West Side Story cassette on like repeat, basically.
I think Ragtime's still one of my favorite musicals.
Oh, Ragtime is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Cats. We talked about it. See, I liked like all of them.
Xanadu. I'm sure Xanadu.
Any other questions?
Back to books, are you guys reading anything new and interesting?
I just read a book called Oryx and Crake. Anybody read that? Margaret Atwood. It's, boy, is it depressing. It's post-apocalyptic, which is great. Everyone's died from a hyper genetically modified Ebola virus that was delivered to the world population through sex pills. Like, you know. Like,
What?
Because in this future, which does not seem that different from our present, which is sort of what sci-fi does.
Yeah, they always.
It's sort of like what sci-fi is. You know, everyone is like takes.
Viagra.
Well, it's like Viagra, basically. It's like making fun of Viagra. It's, you know, pharmaceuticals. It's depressing. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's really good. Good book. I recommend it. Anyone else read anything?
I want to read these dragon tattoo books because I love that movie so much. But I think they're kind of
The first half's a little slow.
It is.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, the
skip
movie
right
does
to
a
the
second
second
half of like cutting out the
Of
slow
cutting
part.
out.
So there's
That's
a
how
lot
I
more
felt
slow.
about The Help. I thought The Help movie was better than the book because they
Oh,
cut
really?
out all the like, my hair's frizzy and I don't know if this guy likes me.
I'm on HP 5 right now. It's
So
it's
did,
Yeah.
really good.
did he say, are you thinking maybe Quirrell might come back?
Yeah.
I have to tell you guys, like, being the only one in this group of people that hasn't read all of them, they mess with me. The second I told Matt I was reading Harry Potter, he goes, oh. I'd look out for that Hedwig if I were you. And have all of you guys read it? I don't want to spoilers. Okay, don't spoil it for me. Anyway, so he was like, watch out for that Scabbers. And I was like, that is the stupidest thing I've ever said to watch out for Hedwig. And plus, I don't say any of the names right. Like, in my mind, I was like, it's Hedwig. I just like that better. And it's Scabbers. I just like that better too. And so I'd come and I'd talk about these things and Matt would go, you're so dumb. Talking about. And so then I came up with this like alter ego of like a dumb girl trying to read Harry Potter. And I'd come over to her house and I go, Sipe is so bad. He tried to throw Harry from his bow stick doing Quidditch match, and I'm like, what are you doing? And like, it's the stupidest thing. And I would just start this, and they'd go, yep, that's what's going on. And they'd like pat me on. They were just like, you don't know anything. And I have this theory that Voldemort is Harry's father. There was just a quick stint, and Matt would go, then Harry's gonna reunite with his dad in book 7. Like, just wait till book 7, because Harry really bonds with his dad. This whole thing is just like, just a chance for them to just pick on me.
Yeah.
That was too
I don't think we've seen the last of Fluffy.
But then, like, Scabbers really was bad.
Yeah, be sure to throw that in there.
You're just like way too slow. You should be done with it.
I know, and then they're like, you're too slow.
Yeah. I finished them in less than a month.
Any more questions?
Can you tell us anything more about the new show?
No.
Yeah, I guess not. I guess we
have music.
Yeah, this is the first time we've ever had music before a rehearsal process.
There's a lot of pizzazz, that's for sure.
Yeah. No. I think that I can tell some vague stuff. I think it will be our shortest show, which is always good.
That was 3 hours.
Trust me. It's pretty much everything we've ever done is way overwritten and too long. So this is probably the cleanest, shortest.
I think it's gonna be the most colorful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
I
Such a costume.
think I like it the best.
It's their best work.
Guys, it's Oklahoma.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. What else? What other vagaries do we got?
I think that might be it. So.
Is it intended for touring or local runs or both, or just
Pretty much just a local run. Local run.
And then YouTube.
And then YouTube, yeah.
How long do you think the run will be?
It would be hard to say. So I won't.
And do you plan on doing that in Chicago, or are you going to go back to
Chicago, I think we're done with U of M.
We've all graduated, so I don't know if they'd actually let us back.
Yeah.
That was the trick, is that for a while there was at least one person who we could be like, point at and say, they're in charge. Sangha, she's in charge. We're all just her guests.
Who's Sango?
Sangha.
Yeah.
Sango.
Are you guys going to try to keep it on the center on Halstead, or are you going to try to find a bigger venue?
Probably center on Halstead, just because.
It's the best place.
Just because I only like doing the same thing over and over. And just doing what's comfortable.
It's got that Whole Foods there.
Yeah. So.
When you're writing, how often do you say you're writing for a certain person in the group, or you can just write and then hold auditions for a character?
Well, this previous show is the first time, not this previous show, this show that we're working on now, is the first time that we've really wrote something without thinking about, and I guess the first Potter show, we wrote them without thinking about who was going to play the parts. I personally think it's a problem to write for people, because it's really difficult, let's say, because first off you have to go, like, you assign people's parts, you assign people a certain size role. You have to go, okay, what do I think they could do? And sometimes it doesn't fit them. Sometimes they're miscast. But it's like, you already told them, you already assigned the part to them. Like in Starship, I just had a list of actors, and it was like, we just said, okay, we've got to write a story with these actors. Okay, we've got to think of a certain number of characters for everybody, and like, you end up having too many characters, and that's a problem. So this current show we wrote without thinking about casting beforehand. So that means that it's shorter because there are fewer characters, and everyone's part is smaller, which may sound like I know everybody's good, or not everybody, but I'm anticipating people going, this person should have a bigger part, this person should have a bigger part, this person should have a bigger part, but it's like, everybody can't have the biggest part, and that's how you end up with 4.5-hour long shows. It's like the time has come to make hour-and-a-half shows. I would like that. So it's a difficulty, yes. We're trying to move away from writing for people. Sorry, was that like a really depressing answer?
When that happens, I mean, you're not writing just for other people, what's kind of the casting process like? Is it like a casting call, or how do you decide
Auditions. Auditions. This past show, everyone in the group came and auditioned, and we gave the parts. When we did the first Potter show, we had auditions, and
They were similar to these auditions.
they were similar to these auditions. Just who was funny, who was good, and sometimes it's just who was around. For the first Potter show, Dylan never auditioned. He just said, "Hey, I can be in the show," and I said, "Great, you're Dumbledore." Because it was going to be Joe as Voldemort and Dumbledore. Because I said they're never in the same scene together, so he can do it. But it ended up being Dylan. So,
well, it's also an exciting thing to have auditions because a lot of times people surprise you in different ways of like what they can do or like a side of them you haven't seen before. So that's always fun. I think that happened with these auditions.
Yeah.
Is your goal to really grow your production company and like to have maybe like a project every 9 months or a year to like really ramp up, or would that be hard on the creative process?
Certainly, you're gonna reach a point where we're out of ideas. I think a lot of people probably have about 2 good ideas their whole life. Like J.K. Rowling had 1 good idea, and we stole it. So it's like we get to make a really good idea. Except Me and My Dick, I think, was a good idea for a musical. I think that was clever. But I would like to get shows out more often. I would like to be more prolific. What's the word? Prolific.
I mean, 9 to 12 months is about the rate that we have hit now. I mean, we've for the first 2 years, it was like every 6 months there was no show, and then this past year we went to 50% that rate.
Partly because like you can't, just being in sort of the real world, you can't move as fast as we did when we were in school.
Yeah, University of Michigan gave us a lot of, like they were sort of a shield for us, where they took away a lot of the problems.
Yeah, U of M, everything was free, so you could do things faster. I think that if more shows are going to come out, it's probably got to be more people have to write the shows.
Because that's the bottleneck. That's the bottleneck in terms of putting things out. Yeah, he's a giant bottleneck. No, I mean it's like these guys. These guys put out. I mean, it's like mind blowing what is accomplished actually. Because I haven't written a play in 25 years. So it's taken me a while. So it's the 3-month process. The development process so far has been very impressive. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe The Digger will be the one.
Yeah, Joe's working on a show called The Digger. It's a great show. But yeah, I think the goal would eventually be to get more shows out.
If we had like a stack of great stuff, we could probably do 4 a year, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, we could just be constantly in production, it's like if we had this, if that weren't an issue, I'd say the 3-month process of making making the production, the technical elements of the production and the rehearsal process and doing the shows, about a 3-month process. We do 40. Excuse me. So, maybe that would be a goal for I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
So related to that, are you looking at programs maybe in the summer where you bring in kids? Are you looking to expand your company? Do you have any plans in that direction?
That's what I want.
Yeah, we've thrown around that idea of that. I always say that we're not qualified to do that personally. I go, we can't teach anything to anybody. Like, look at us, we don't know what the hell we're doing. So, but that's just also because I have low self-esteem, man. So I don't know. I mean, that might be fun. We also for a while we thought that might be a fun reality show.
Yeah, I think that the way we do things would not be a nurturing, fun atmosphere. It would be a stressful, scarring atmosphere, which
builds character.
Yeah.
Dance moms.
So, I mean, it's also, there's only so many hours in the day, and if you do a camp for kids, then you can't do other stuff. So, I'd say as long as the company is structured the way it is now, I'd say probably not.
Kind of an opposite question. Do you have any ambitions for collaboration with
Gregory.
Yeah, Gregory brothers are real cool. They're funny guys. I don't know if you know anybody else.
The biggest one, but that's the only one that comes to mind.
The Gregory
Yeah.
brothers? Matt Stone, Trey Park. They would be like, who are you? No. Yeah, this is hard. It's a language. I don't know. It's a good question. No?
Probably not. I don't know the Gregory brothers, so.
Is there anyone you'd like to see us work with?
Ooh. You guys
You can
Justin Bieber.
Dream about him last night.
I had a makeout dream.
She had to ask him if he was like legal.
It was the most random thing that's ever happened. Sorry, I brought it up. Sorry.
All right.
So funny.
Other than that,
I don't know if anyone's asked this already, but like, have you ever had people stop you on the street and be like, "Hey, are you, like?"
no. Sure.
Yeah.
Usually people are kind of scared of me. So they like hang out, work up their courage. And I'm usually aware that they're watching me or following me. Because I don't think people are really all that sneaky. So eventually I'll just like hide behind a post, and when I see him walking by, I'll say, hey.
I was
scared of you.
I was with my nanny kid Sebastian, and we went to go buy some muffins from some girls who were selling muffins. And this girl was like, "Oh my gosh, are you Meredith?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "Okay, cool. I saw Starship." And I said, "Thanks." And then we bought a little treat. Oh, another time I was with my mom. I was with my mom and we were shopping in downtown Chicago, and somebody was like, "Are you Miranda?" Kinda.
When I was at a Jim and the Polos concert and I was waiting in line, this girl turns around. It was like a group of girls, and she was like, "Are you here to see Jim and the Polos?" And I go, "Yeah, I'm so excited." She goes, "Are you a fan of Team Starkid?" I go, "Yeah." She goes, "Do you know any of them?" And I go, "Yeah, I do." And she goes, "Who's like your favorite one?" And I was like, "Well, actually, like, don't tell anyone. Like, I grew up with Meredith, so we're like actually good friends." And we're like, "No way!" And she goes, "Have you seen Starship?" I said, "Yeah, I saw it from a lot of different angles." And she goes, "Have you watched it on YouTube?" And I go, "No." And she's like, "Cool, well maybe we'll see you inside." And I'm like, "Yeah, maybe, it should be really fun." And then I look through the window and it's Nick Lang, and he goes, "Why are you waiting in line?" Because I don't want to be rude. And like, it just came out on YouTube, so I'm like, "Hi, excuse me." So I just waited in line, and Nick was like, I stood there, and I was just like arguing over this girl, like, who was a big It was awesome.